We are back live due to some technical difficulties. But back to what I was saying is that you're looking at the veterans who are currently in the playoffs. We're looking at Fire Slayer, we're looking at JoJo, and we can't forget about Riley. First, I'm going to ask you this: so, what type of impact do you think will make as far as their playoffs?
I mean, I really don't think that anyone, if you're a veteran or not, at least this year, is going to have much of an advantage in the Cup Series, especially with the new cars, because everyone had to learn them the exact same amount, because everyone basically got them at the same time. It wasn't a whole situation of if you got the game first, you were able to figure out how to race each track better.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the same amount of time basically to figure out these cars on every track. And I just don't think that I don't think that just because you drove this, like you've been on this game longer, it will affect you as much, especially
Yeah.
recently.
Well, regarding as far as we go from the veterans to the rookies, I mean, we're looking at Shake and Bake, Gotham, and of course Marner. How do you think they will do as far as in the playoffs?
Wait, say that again?
As far as rookies, we're looking at Shake, Gotham, and Marnes. How do you think they will do as far as playoffs?
I mean, I feel like they're all going to be pretty solid. I feel like Gotti arguably has the best chance. I mean, he made it in it only started in 7 races, which is surprising compared to everyone else. I mean, the other guys, JoJo and Riley, the only two guys close to him with that. But Shake and Marner also, I feel like will have a good chance. Marner being really good in the Truck Series with Ford. I think this is his first season in Cup, being really solid. Shake's been up there. I've seen, or at least from when I've been broadcasting, he's been up there close, running at the top for at least the majority of the races I've been broadcasting. I've seen him do pretty well. Don't know too much about him since it is his first season in the league, but I don't really know. I feel like he'll be really good.
Alright, well, with that being said, we definitely need to get a chance to talk to the guy who has been pretty much helping us throughout this entire day. Not to mention that, a race driver, and of course, a broadcaster himself, Shake. Shake, are you with us, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here, bud.
Alright, man, you have pretty much been doing this now, pretty much starting from the first race of the season to now. I mean, this is your first season with us. How much has Hennessy made an impact on you, especially how much the competition has been for you?
Well, I mean, I said previously, I mean, this is easily the most competitive, like, all-around league I've ever raced in. I mean, I've raced in other leagues where there's fast guys, but it really just feels like the whole field here is competitive. I mean, there's definitely, especially in the Cup Series, I mean, I've seen this year, I mean, Chibi, Heredia, and Ghost, I feel like for the most part, they've been a little bit ahead of the field. Um, But I mean, there's definitely some weeks where I feel like myself and people like JoJo, we've been able to stay with them, and eat, like Fire Slayer, Mike, all those guys. I mean, honestly, 1 through 10 in this series is extremely competitive. Um, it's been fun to be a part of. I mean, I feel like each week I'm actually like really pushing myself to be the best I can be. I mean, yes, it's a video game, but I'm so competitive. I don't care what it is. I'll flip the table over if I'm playing Monopoly with my family. I hate to lose. So I mean, racing with these guys has just been fun.
Yeah. As far as who's in the field, who would you say has been like your biggest competition?
I mean, biggest competition would, I mean, easily be Chibi. I mean, he's like I said, he's been dominant all season. But I mean, two guys that I found myself racing around a lot this season, and it's been fun racing with them. I mean, it's got to be Mike G and Fire Slayer. I feel like we are very similar when it comes to pace at a lot of tracks, and I feel like we find ourselves around each other quite a bit. I had a few run-ins with Mike G, and most of them were my fault at the beginning of the season, and I had to apologize for a couple of them. I mean, because they definitely weren't intentional. I like to think of myself as a fairly clean racer. And I mean, I think we're past that. He might owe me one if he does, and it's not too crazy. I probably won't be too upset about it. Fire Slayer and I had a run in at Charlotte after we talked about things. We were both fine. So I mean, Fire Slayer and Mike G are the two that I've raced around the most, and it's been a lot of fun. But I mean, most competitor, or like the biggest competitor, is definitely Chibi so far.
Yeah. Not to mention that, I mean, we talked about this. You're going to be going to race in the playoffs against your teammates in Heredia God and, of course, Marner. Do you think you guys are going to be very extra competitive going into to the playoffs?
I mean, I think as a team we're going to be very competitive. I mean, and that's one thing. My first season in here, I will say I'm very happy where I got drafted to race with Heredia. I mean, he's helped me a lot. We are always talking during the race, and I mean, he's helping me with adjustments I got to make. He's a very smart guy when it comes to the game. A great team owner. So I mean, I honestly think I think Heredia is almost a lock, in my personal opinion, to make the playoff or make the championship race. And Marner, I mean, I've raced with him in a couple leagues before, and even this league. I mean, we, I think we work really well together. I mean, so I think that's kind of going to be the game plan for us three. Is going to be to work together. Because I mean, if we can somehow sneak all three of us in there to compete against somebody else, I mean,
Yeah.
the goal is a team get RFK a championship. Obviously, from a selfish perspective, I want to win the championship. Heredia does too, and I know Marner does. So I mean, if we can get, I mean, the goal is to get three. I mean, more than likely, I think we can get two in there. Um, so I think if we just work together, I don't necessarily know if we'll be competitive towards each other until maybe late in the race. I think we're going to do a good job, like we have all season, of working together. Um,
Yeah.
and I think, like I said, if we just keep working together, I think we'll be fine.
All right. And looking at the schedule in store for us for the playoffs, what race are you excited for?
Honestly, I'm excited for three of the four. I mean, New Hampshire and these new cars is probably one of my better tracks. There in Phoenix, I'm fairly good at. And earlier this season, I mean, I've heard about how competitive a lot of guys in Hennessy are at road courses, but I felt like I really held my own at Road America. I felt like I had a good run until the end. Some unfortunate events kind of put me in the back of the field, but stage one and two, I was up front, got stage points in both stages. Felt really competitive. So, I mean, I think New Hampshire, I could have a very good run. Watkins Glen, I think I'll be competitive. And Phoenix, I'll be great. I am absolutely dreading this Thursday at Darlington. That is probably one of my worst tracks. And, I mean, it's not as bad as Bristol was for the regular season finale for me, but it's definitely not one of the tracks that I see myself winning unless some crazy, crazy stuff happens.
Very well said. And of course, something that my last question to you. I mean, obviously, with you being in the playoffs, you want to get a chance to make the biggest impact. So, what's the one thing you want to? What's the one goal you want to get a chance to achieve, even if you don't, even if there's a chance you may not win a championship?
I mean, honestly, these next four races, I think my biggest thing that I need to achieve, which I haven't all season, is execution in stage three. I feel like in a lot of these races all season, I've been close to the front in stage one and two, and then whether it's something out of my control or just a mental mistake by myself, I feel like I just take myself out of the race in stage three. And like I said, the whole field is competitive from front to back, so passing in this league is just not easy. So track position is huge. So if I can just execute in stage three and get the result I feel like I deserve a little bit more often, I think that'll be the biggest thing I'm looking to achieve in the playoffs.
Well, hey, I think that will definitely do it. And once again, I'm gonna get a chance to talk to. Let's see if who's still in the party. Wuchia, are you still there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Looking at the drivers are gonna be in the playoffs. Who's looking trying to make it to that final four? I'm gonna ask you, who is your final four predictions?
You know, from what I've raced in the Cup Series, it's tight. So it's not going to be easy to predict this Final Four. You know, it's a lot of comp. It's these tracks are all over the place. So you never know who could win. But for me, so far, I started for Heredia. I think Heredia has one of the best shots of winning this championship out of everybody in this playoff field.
Hmm.
Next, I have Chibi. Chibi, he Chibi's a little wild card. I feel like I feel like people won't really have Chibi in there, but I feel like if you want a driver that can win and that could consistently finish where he needs to be, Chibi's your guy. Next, I, you know, I'm a little FD Slayer. I don't think a lot of people have him either. You know, FD, he has
Yeah.
a clean reputation. I don't think because I was racing late, I don't think a lot of people have a problem with him. I think he's really well liked in this Cup field. And, you know, not having a lot of enemies in this field could really get you a long way. FD is also only 1 point out, so anything, and I mean anything can happen. And my last one, I think it has to be Shake. Shake, sometimes he's in the back, but when it matters most, he's up there. If you
Yeah.
want a clutch driver in the clutch time, I think Shake is your guy. I left out JoJo and I left out Ghost. JoJo, I know he's my teammate, but I don't feel like he's consistent enough to keep up with these guys. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people have something going out for him, and it's not his fault, you know. There's just harder racing. People just don't like certain people, and they'll do certain things to them to screw them out of it, you know.
Very well said on that. And of course, after this one, I'm gonna have to say my championship four predictions are gonna be Chibi, Heredia, Shake, and Mike G. That real quick though, I definitely do want to thank Shake and Bake for leading this two-part broadcast and to get a chance to cover all three series for us, getting us ready for the playoffs. Fans or anybody that's watching us live, if you guys are interested in checking out our big race tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern on the YouTube channel, we get ready to start our Truck Series race at Homestead, Miami. I can honestly say this is going to be a very great one, especially for a driver's perspective. I'm very excited, and I cannot wait to see how things go as far as our Truck Series drivers. Tomorrow night at around 7:20 p.m. Eastern, we have our Xfinity Series. They'll be going live from Chicagoland. And, of course, this coming Thursday, our Cup Series going from Darlington. I think same time, 7:20 p.m. Eastern. But hey, Shake, thank you so much for helping us out. I would definitely do want to thank Firstinator, Hell State, Wachia, and Masopes for taking the time out of their busy schedule to get a chance to help us. Um, Shake, do you have any final thoughts or comments you want to say?
I mean, just really excited for this first week in the of the playoffs for all three series. I mean, kind of like something I said to you all before we even came on air. I mean, I know it's a video game, and a lot of people might just, not think this is a big deal. But I mean, I really wanted to get this out for everybody, whether they're in the league or not in the league, just to kind of, give the recognition to the guys who have, put in a little bit of time. I mean, like I said, we're all very competitive. So, I mean, I want to congratulate everybody that has made the playoffs in their respective series. Wish everybody luck. I mean, it's a new year. It's 2024. So I mean, let's see if the sparks are still there from last year. If people are still upset with each other, I think we're going to see an interesting 4 weeks to see who makes the championship race. And I highly doubt that the championship race in all three series. I don't think any of them are going to disappoint. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, very well said. And as far as my final thoughts and comments, really truly, I want to thank the admins for pretty much doing what they've been doing throughout this entire season. I know us drivers are going to give the best that we possibly can, even if you aren't in the playoffs. Still come in and race. I mean, even if you're not competing for anything, at least try to get a chance to just go out and win. But with that being said, from all of us here in HBO, for Shake, yours truly, Jake, I will say so long, and we'll see you guys tonight at Homestead.